control the vertigo.
Welcome to Anthologic, the TV anthology podcast. I am your host, Mark. Anthologic is a podcast dedicated to exploring the good, the bad, and the odd of horror, science fiction, and the best of mystery suspense anthology shows and series on TV. Join me as we slip through the cracks of reality to approach the extremes of experience, where we can peruse the stories and art of a sinister fairground of strange and wonderful rides. And now we go on to the show that is the focus of this particular episode. Welcome to this episode of Anthologic with your host Mark. Today I'll be covering something a little more unusual than I usually cover in this series, which is a one-off episode belonging to an anthology series which isn't exclusively horror. This is kind of sometimes common. And this particular one is a comedy anthology series. Now, I found that comedy anthology series sometimes do veer into horror. It's kind of a common thing for horror and comedy to mix up. This particular episode is an episode from a series called Ripping Yarns, which was shown in the 70s. It was a series kind of devised and developed and written by Michael Palin and Terry Jones from Monty Python. So it's written after Monty Python had finished, but it involved two of the main sort of people from that setup. And they devised this series, Ripping Yarns, which was kind of a parody pastiche of boys' own adventure stories, which are kind of common in Britain in the 50s and 60s. You know, there was lots of boys' own adventures about, you know, heroic deeds and battles and you know, expeditions and stuff like that. Very kind of a very looking backwards at sort of Britain's past kind of thing. And this was kind of a gentle-ish pastiche of that kind of thing. It ran for two series. First series only had 6 episodes. The second one only had 3, so there was only 9 episodes in all. But each episode was sort of had a different theme. But the one I want to talk about tonight is the last episode of season 1, the 6th episode of season 1, which is called The Curse of the Claw. Now, this one has some elements of stories we'd all know, such as the monkey's paw and stuff like that. It was a cursed claw that had to be something done about. This is going to be a spoiler-filled episode. I am going to sort of talk about the story somewhat and probably reveal the ending a little. So just be aware of that. I don't think this is a very well-seen series. I'm pretty sure it's very, very English. I'm not sure it's ever reached anywhere outside of the UK. It was first shown on the BBC 2, and the first season was September onwards from 1977, and the second series was October 1979. And it's not frequently repeated. Now, there's a few reasons for this. It's kind of got some of the 70s issues that on TV has, but I think partly it's because it's not that funny. There's some fun. There's a couple of episodes which are very, very good. Curse of Claw is one of the better ones actually, but some of them are just a little dull and not quite as much fun as you think they're going to be. That's probably one of the problems with them. So Curse of the Claw is about someone being raised. It appears to be Victorian, but the timeline's all over the place. It's Victorian, Edwardian, early 20s, late 20s kind of time frame. It's kind of mixed up. But it's got, like, you know, repressed parents, and there's kind of jokes about that, you know. I had a harsh childhood, but I wasn't as bad as my sister who got imprisoned for sort of picking flowers, or my brother who got killed for walking on the flower beds. It was that kind of level of jokes. And it's all about this ancient curse this claw thing, which I think is a really cool looking object, actually. If you touch it, bad things happen to you. For example, someone touches it and their leg instantly breaks, or someone touches it on a boat and the boat explodes, and there's stuff like that. And there's these, it's kind of absurdist in a way you'd expect from the Pythons, while mixing up with this kind of earnest look at sort of British boys' own adventures. Interesting one, not great. I'm not sure how you'd even catch this. I just happen to have an old box set. That's how I've got it. I'm not even sure it's in print. It probably is. I'm sure you probably get it if you really wanted to. Maybe on YouTube, as far as I know. But it's got that sort of issues. As I say, Michael Palin and Terry Jones. Michael Palin stars in pretty much every episode, and he's often taking multiple parts. For example, in Curse of the Claw, he plays the main character, but also the uncle of the main character, who's kind of obsessed with getting diseases. There's a line in it, for example, I was a healthy young man then, I only had malaria, and he's got he's got bubonic plague, and he's like fishing stuff out of drains, dead rats out of drains, and sort of sniffing them, and it's kind of disgusting in that way, but kind of fun. And this one was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad at all. But I'm not sure it's dated that well, and I'm not sure modern audiences would really think much of this. It's got a sort of slow pace, and the laughs are a bit sort of absurdist and hit and miss. But I kind of like this one. I don't like the whole series. And Curse of the Claw, I think, is probably my second favourite episode. The first one is a parody of Tom Brown's School Days, called Tompkinson's School Days. That's a very, very funny one. I really enjoy that one. But Curse of the Claw's kind of up there too. But even so, I don't think it's a great show by any means. It's decent, is what I'd say. I'd be interested if anyone's got any comments about this. I'm not even sure anyone. I feel like sometimes for shows like this, I'm the only person that's actually seen and remembered this one. This is one of those for me, I think. Okay, so that's it from me. But can I ask, is anybody out there?
We now return control of your television set to you until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to